at today?
Good question, Paul. Let me just grab the screen, and I have got a few things I'm looking at. I just wanted to point out first of all that most of you who know me and have traded with me or listened to me know that I am a trend trader predominantly, and really there are two types of market that I like to trade. Obviously, number one is clearly cleanly trending markets, and that has pretty much been the content of my trading since March. There have been some really nice strongly trending markets. Aussie dollar has been beautiful. The S&P and Nasdaq indices have been fantastic. Gold has yielded some really good trending opportunities. So we've seen such amazing trends over the last I don't know 6 months or so. It's been a real treat, to be honest. And right now we are starting to see, or not starting to see, we have kind of seen the end of some of those trends, and we're starting to see more consolidation, a little bit of change of direction. And as Julian says, some key levels that either prices hovering around or testing. And so for me, it's all about confirmation. And I call this my either or trading. So two types of trading that I do: my trend trading and my either or trading. My either or trading is also trend trading, but it's a little bit more flexible in that I need to spend a little bit more time analyzing the markets in order to get my direction, because perhaps the trends aren't necessarily as obvious as one might like. So with that having been said, I'm going to start off by looking at dollar Swiss. The reason I'm looking at dollar Swiss, and I'll have a look at euro dollar as well, they tend to correlate quite nicely and move quite nicely together. So I'll have a look at euro dollar as well, but I'm starting with dollar Swiss, and I just want to start up on the monthly time frame. I think it's really important at the beginning of the month to look at the monthly timeframes and analyze them. Even if you analyzed it last month and you've got levels from last month and they may not have changed, it's a really good idea to just reconfirm your thoughts on each currency pair or each instrument that you're trading at the beginning of every month. And so dollar Swiss on the monthly time frame, I do find that the dollar Swiss and other Swiss pairs tend to really strongly respect horizontal levels, and we've got a pretty major horizontal level here. So we've got this previous low where this level has been tested. It's been tested back over here as well, and all the way back to 2014 as well. This was a strong horizontal level that formed pretty much after that massive where we had the unpegging of the euro and the Swiss franc. So it's a significant horizontal level. The reason I'm pointing this out on the monthly time frame is because right now price, as Julian mentioned, is at this level. So Julian mentioned some key levels. I don't know whether this is one that he specifically is looking at, but for me this is a key level, and it's definitely a level that I'm looking at. And this is where my either or trading comes in, because if price gives me a confirmation at this point that it is heading in the upwards direction, then I will trade accordingly. And at the moment on the daily time frame, I do have a higher low and a higher high. Price has come down. It's tested this month's new monthly pivot. It's not broken below at the moment. It's stayed above, and price currently is just above this key horizontal level that I've been talking about. So for me, my priority is to be looking for long opportunities. Now, obviously, I will, in order for that to happen, I need there to be no resistance in the way. So obviously last week I would not have been trading long because we had this weekly pivot here. This week, the weekly pivot will move slightly, probably not very far. And that will then be taken into account on my trading from tonight onwards. And really what I want to do is look for long opportunities on this moving forwards. Having said that, going back to the either or situation, if price comes down and breaks beneath the monthly pivot, that will also mean price will have got yet again beneath this key horizontal level, and that will then trigger me to trade short. So I'm remaining open-minded. While I've got these trends that are not fully established, I'm just literally going up here on the daily time frame with the latest higher low and the latest higher high, but that can change very quickly. If price goes down from here, then I will have a mini lower high and a mini lower low, which then could be tradable on the lower time frames. So my preference would be for price to move upwards from here and trade with the daily trend. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm ready and open for opportunities short beneath the monthly pivot and beneath this key horizontal level. So I'm going to talk about euro as well, because we've got a similar-ish situation on euro. It's not quite as clean, but on euro, let's look at the monthly time frame and the key level here. The key level that I'm looking at is pretty much the level that price has settled at right as we speak. We've got this level of support from all the way back in 2004. It's been resistance in 2014, support again in 2016, resistance in 2017, and price has settled at this level as we speak. So going back to the daily time frame, we can see a little bit about this price action here on the daily time frame. And again, similar to dollar Swiss, we have got lower highs and lower lows. Price has come up to form a lower high at this point here, which is just above this key level of what has been support. And this is the area that I'm looking at. And again, I'm looking at it in an either or frame of mind. So if price now confirms a downwards direction, gets back below the horizontal level here, then we'll be looking for short opportunities. However, we've got a new monthly pivot. It is as yet untested. If price manages to get up to the monthly pivot, test that and go through that, then I will be looking for potential long opportunities on the lower time frames. So it's another either or situation there on euro dollar. Another thing that I want to have a look at is Aussie dollar. Another one that Julian mentioned. And again, really, in order to do my analysis, especially at the beginning of the month, it is really, really important to look at the monthly time frame. So here on Aussie dollar, again, I've got my key level drawn in at this strong level of what has been support. It was support back in 2016, 15, 14, all the way back in 2004 as well. We've got a strong monthly level of support. And price is pretty much sitting at that level right now as we speak. So again, that is a potential turning point for Aussie dollar. Now on Aussie dollar, we have a similar thing where the trend is potentially changing here. I've now got a lower high and a lower low. Price has moved up above, just above this horizontal level here, which I've got drawn in, and currently is just sitting and testing that level. So price potentially could stay above this level, in which case I'd be happy actually to take long opportunities, potentially on the lower timeframes if they present themselves on my strategy. And again, it's this key level here that is really important to me. And if price gets back below that level, then I will be extremely interested in trading that short. Let me just add the monthly pivot on there just to show you that that is another area of decision making where if price manages to get above this monthly pivot here, then I will for sure be looking out for long opportunities. Now, with my either or trading, I tend to look for more conservative opportunities than I otherwise would. So that is something to bear in mind. I'm not necessarily looking to run these trades for a long time. I'm more looking to get into trades and out of trades fairly quickly, fairly conservatively, especially because you know, it's pretty much going to be my last week of trading this week before I wind things down. So another thing that I wanted to look at, in fact, there are two other things that I want to look at. First of all, I just want a very brief look at gold. Now, I know Ainslie comes in and talks about gold, so that's why I say very, very brief. All I want to point out is that this as well is at this key horizontal level. Now, if we put that onto the monthly time frame, we can see that that is actually very close to the all-time highs, the previous all-time highs from back in 2011. So that is also a key horizontal level. Price has broken below there, come back up, and is currently retesting that level. So again, this is an either or point for me. Either price will test that level and confirm a return to what is now reasonably established as a downtrend, lower highs and lower lows, or it could break back above that level, in which case that brings us into this tricky area here where we've seen a lot of consolidation. So my trading would be a lot more conservative if that were to be the case. If price continues down here, then the next strong level of support for me is down here around 1790 or thereabouts. And that is really where I would be heading or aiming for if I were to be trading short on gold. But I won't spend too much time talking about gold because I know Ainslie will come in and talk about that. And really the final thing that I wanted to talk about is the US indices. I have been trading the US indices very, very heavily over the last few months. They've been trending amazingly well. And again, we've now got a couple of key levels that we can use to our advantage. This horizontal level here has been resistance. It's shown a little bit of support as well. It's not a very clear level because it's only been established for 2 months or so. We've never had price higher than this before, so the levels are very, very new levels. However, price right now is sitting exactly at that level. So again, it's an either or situation. This level could hold and price could head back to the upside, and especially if it gets above the monthly pivot, then I'll be looking for longs on the NASDAQ. If this level breaks, then that will be a bearish sign for me and one that I would like to look out for short opportunities on. So that NASDAQ is also at a key level for me, a decision point, and my trading will very much depend on what happens around this level, especially what happens around the new monthly pivot and things like that. And then the other one, of course, alongside the NASDAQ, S&P, very, very closely correlated and often move similarly. S&P has not been as strong as the NASDAQ, but just to point out this key level, these previous all-time highs from back in February this year, we broke strongly through there. We then had the drop that we've seen here, lower high, lower low. Price has come back to within these two levels of support and resistance. So at the moment, price is pretty trapped. And when price gets trapped, that's an indication to me to look out for something to happen. It's very handy that price is also trapped just beneath this monthly pivot. So the level and the pivot coincide really nicely. And again, if price manages to break up above here, then I'll be looking for long opportunities all day long on all time frames. If price bounces at this level, then that will be a bearish signal. And once we get through this area of support here, then I'll be looking for short opportunities. So my analysis this week isn't necessarily, well, I'm looking at euro short and I'm looking at dollar Swiss long and things like that. It really is an either or situation. We've got key levels that price is at. And for me, I think I just need to wait to see what is going to happen with price action as the markets open before I actually make my decisions. And it will be these key levels that really guide my trading for the week ahead. The other thing to point out, which I don't think has been mentioned yet, is the we've just had an extension, I think, to the horrific shambles of the Brexit negotiations that are going on. So I think there was a deadline looming, and the EU and the UK have now just agreed, I think this weekend, to extend that to make sure that we do come up with a deal. So I'm guessing that when the market opens, that could have an impact on the euro and the pound, that we just might want to be a little bit wary of. So that is pretty much what I wanted to
Hey, Chloe.
I wanted to cover. Hey,
I need to cover some more. How you doing? So Dennis has asked you whether you trade on Mondays, and look, I think it's one of the interesting things, because obviously different Access to Wealth traders trade on or don't trade on different days. Do you trade Mondays?
Yes, I do, as a rule, Paul. I have not been trading Mondays recently because, as you know, I'm kind of scaling back, and because Monday isn't a day that I'm involved with any Trader Talk radio or any of the social media shows or anything like that, I've chosen for that reason not to trade Mondays at the moment, just because I am also getting the house ready and getting all sorts of things ready for the upcoming arrival. But as a rule, yes, I do trade Mondays. In fact, I find Mondays a really good day to trade.
Still painting, Chloe?
We're on the final room as we speak, getting there.